Hello everyone, it's Mel from Stocksbridge Guitar Tech. No lesson for you today, but instead, as from the title, can you play guitar when you're deaf? Well, maybe, maybe not. Now I'm actually quite hard of hearing. As a matter of fact, in my right ear, I'm considered profoundly deaf, which is basically no usable hearing at all. I can hear some sounds, but I can't really hear speech, and I can't really discern things like guitar tones. And I'm about 68% deaf in my left ear. So if I'm out anywhere, I actually have to wear the dreaded hearing aids in order to be able to converse with people. And I gave up playing guitar for a very, very long time. For many, many years I didn't play the guitar, and I sold all of my equipment off. Something that I wish I hadn't done now. It was only after both of my parents died that I decided to buy myself a guitar and try to start playing again. And it was extremely difficult at first. In fact, it still is. I no longer play live anymore. I can't play in a live band. It's just like the situation is just so bad with hearing aids. They just break up. You know, when the drummer hits the kick drum, the hearing aids will start crackling and popping. It's not a good sound. And if I take them out, then I'm maybe going to be a lot too loud, because what sounds okay to me would be far too loud for any of the other band members. And if I turn it down to the point where they're happy, then I'm probably not going to be able to hear myself. So I no longer play live, and I haven't done for years, which is why I do the YouTube thing now. I'm just trying to help other young guitarists along, maybe progress a little bit. So what I wanted to do today was just explain how, when I did used to play live back in the 70s, 80s and early 90s, before I started losing my hearing, how I would go about learning a song. It's very, very easy to just hop onto YouTube today and look for someone that will teach you how to play a song by, you know, whoever, your favourite artist. And that's great, that's fantastic. There are some amazing guitar players and guitar teachers on YouTube. But there is a slight drawback in that some people, because it's all there for them on a video and tab, they don't really use their ears. And as a musician, these are your most vital asset, and you should look after them. By the way, my deafness, nothing to do with music. It wasn't caused by music. It's a hereditary problem. And I thought that I'd escaped it, but it caught up with me when I was about 30 years old. So I've been deaf for the past 30 years. But it was nothing to do with music. But what I used to do when I had a new song to learn, especially one that I'd not heard before, or I'd not heard a lot, before I even picked up a guitar, I would listen to that song over and over and over again, maybe 15, 20 times before I actually picked the guitar up and decided to try and find out what key it was in, what the chord progression was, and all that kind of thing. I think that's very important, because you get to learn the song as a whole rather than just the guitar part that you're trying to learn. You get to know how the bass player should be playing, how the drums should be playing. I used to sit and write out the lyrics, even if they were wrong, because it wasn't always easy to get the lyrics from a record. And now again, you can just hop onto Google and get lyrics today. But you couldn't do that back in the 1970s and 80s, not the early to mid 80s anyway. So I used to sit and write out the lyrics so that I would know, you know, the intro was 8 bars long, then the first verse came in, and I would know how the first verse went. I would also know if there were any dead stops in the middle of the song or anything like that, where everyone should stop together and then come back in again. And I think a lot of this is missing these days, because people just watch somebody on YouTube showing them how to play a certain song by a certain artist, and they're not actually using their ears. And like I said, these are your most valuable asset as a guitar player, or as any musician for that matter, or a singer. So I would urge you to, even before you start learning songs, just have a really, really good listen to the songs, and don't listen to them when you're distracted. Make sure that you're on your own in a quiet place, listening through speakers or through headphones, whatever. But make sure that you're really deeply listening to the songs, to the structure of the song, before you even pick your guitar up, tune it, and then try to start playing the song. It will also help you to discover if a song is not in standard tuning, for example. It could be in an altered tuning, because there are many tunings for the guitar. Most things are in standard tuning, but not everything is. By all means, there are many tunings for the guitar, which we'll have a look at. We'll have a look at that in a later lesson. I just wanted to make a quick video just to briefly touch on how I used to learn songs when I was playing live, and to give you some insights and some advice about using your ears more. Don't just rely on what other people show you on YouTube or on Google if you're looking for guitar tabs. Very often the guitar tabs are wrong. Some of them are great and they're very, very close, but some of them are not. They're like completely wrong chords. So just be aware that it's always better to learn by yourself if you can. It will bring you on much more as a musician. So I hope that's been helpful to someone. And again, to raise the question, can you play guitar when you're deaf? Well, I still give it my best shot. Am I as good as I was 20, 30 years ago? No, of course not. But it's a completely different ball game for me now. So if anyone is struggling with deafness out there, or hard of hearing, you're losing your hearing, you're suffering from tinnitus, as I do as well, then don't let that put you off. Don't let it be a complete barrier to you. In some ways, it forces you to be a better musician, because I've had to rely more on my eyes than my ears since I started playing again, probably round about 11 or 12 years ago when I started playing again. And it's also forced me to learn the fretboard, learn the notes on the entire fretboard, and to learn more theory and develop that knowledge, which I'm still learning. You know, it's an ongoing process. Even certain people on YouTube who are very, very good musicians and have a great grounding in theory, they don't know everything. They're still learning, and they always will be learning until the day they die, because you can never, ever know everything that there is to know about music. And you don't need to, fortunately, especially if you're only interested in one specific genre of music, like rock or funk or pop. Then that's all you really need to study. But if you want to branch out and do a little bit of folk and country and pop and funk and soul, then theory is your best friend, really. So, as ever, if you've enjoyed this video, if you found it at all helpful or useful, please do subscribe to the channel. It helps me out. Please leave me a like, a comment or a share. I'd love to hear from any other people out there who are maybe struggling with the hearing. Remember Pete Townsend? He was deafened by Keith Moon way back when, on the Ed Sullivan Show, when Mooney blew up his drum kit and used a bit too much explosive. So, you know, there are still guitar players out there who play even though they're very, very hard of hearing. As for whether you can actually play if you're completely deaf, I don't know about that. I haven't reached that stage yet, and fingers crossed, hopefully I never will. But anyway, just don't let something like that put you off trying to be a guitar player or any other kind of musician, piano player, violin player, whatever instrument it is you play. Just try and keep going with it, because I always think that music is something that's in your blood. If it's in your blood, you're going to be very, very unhappy without music in your life. So keep the music, keep the faith, and that's all from me today. Remember to click the little bell notification and remember to subscribe, and I'll see you for another lesson very shortly. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.